Turning our focus to the travel industry, Philippine budget airlines Cebu Pacific is planning to lease two Airbus A320s to Saudi budget airline Flyadeal in July and August. The move comes as a Cebu Air tries to generate revenue from its excess capacity during the Philippines' off-peak travel season. Under the so-called wet lease deal, Cebu Pacific will provide the aircraft, pilots, crew, and maintenance. Flyadeal CEO Stephen Greenway said their peak season complements Cebu's lull, calling it a natural symbiosis. Flyadeal plans to expand into Southeast Asia and tap Philippine Gulf travel, especially for overseas workers and Hajj pilgrims. Stephen Greenway, he's the CEO of Flyadeal, and CNBC's travel editor Monica Petrelli. They're both joining, of course, this conversation. Steve, it's great to have you on this morning. And I did lay out the rationale behind this Cebu deal here, but why Philippines? Why Cebu at this point in time? Walk us through your thinking behind this deal.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me. The original genesis was we went down to Cebu in February, if I'm not mistaken, because they have the A330 wide-body aircraft, and we were just about to announce our purchase of 10 aircraft, and we went down to see what the operation was like, get some insights from Cebu Pac, who'd been operating the aircraft for quite some years. From that, literally over a dinner, we started to actually explore opportunities in terms of how we could complement each other, and we worked out pretty quickly that our peak was their low and vice versa. And so we then started to talk about how we could actually do a capacity swap between both airlines that would benefit both airlines in their peak seasons. And that's really the genesis of a broader deal that we have today.
How is Flyadeal responding to the increasing competition that I was reading about in the region, especially when it comes to low-cost segment? There are new players, new carriers. Perhaps this is really the Southeast Asian region or outside the Gulf. It could be an interesting opportunity for you.
Well, I mean, competition is a given in the airline industry. It's always cutthroat, be it in Singapore or Asia or in the Middle East. So that's a given. We just have to make sure that we can compete fairly and as economically as possible in terms of having the lowest unit cost as an LCC in the kingdom. And the kingdom, it's a victim of its own success as it opens up, as it grows, as more key projects like the Red Sea resorts and so forth come online. Obviously, more airlines are interested to come into the kingdom, and so we've got to compete against them effectively. The deal that we have today with Cebu Pacific is just one of many items that we're doing to make sure that we're competitive, we're able to provide capacity into the market to be able to satisfy the demand in the market, because the domestic market in the kingdom is growing at something like 15% year on year at this moment in time.
And Stephen, another bit of news this week, going to be flying to Syria soon, even as quickly as next July, correct?
Yeah.
Where do you get the planes? We're seeing this big deal coming through. It's so important because supply chain issues continue to trouble the aviation industry. A market opens, how do you get the planes to go?
It's like one of these things, if it doesn't rain, it pours. And all of a sudden, markets are opening up in terms of everything from Libya to Iraq and now Syria. So fortunately or unfortunately, the restrictions were only lifted last week. What we're going to have to do to get into the market is probably move our network around a little bit over the peak summer. Going into the second half of the year, we will have more aircraft coming into our fleet, so we won't have to do that. But at least initially, we're going to have to move some of the chess pieces to make Syria work.
Okay, and you have ordered 10 A330s.
Correct.
I mean, this is a big wide-body plane.
Yes.
For a low-cost carrier.
440 seats, roughly, yeah.
Okay, and those may come on board as early as 2027.
Yep.
What is the plan? Where will you send these planes?
So they'll come, our first aircraft hopefully arrives in July of 2027, and we've said on record it's going to be Southeast Asia. So think Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia and the Philippines. Predominantly the Philippines and Indonesia. We're looking at particularly labour traffic that's going into the kingdom and also religious traffic that's going into the kingdom all year round now.
And I want to talk about the passenger mix on your airline. It's a lot of airlines, have leisure travelers and business travelers, and we broadly speak in those terms. Very different for Flyadeal.
Yes and no. I mean, we've got very broad. We have everyone from pilgrims all the way through to business travelers and government. The one sector which is quite interesting is everything is sort of, I suppose, centralising in Riyadh. Riyadh is really developing as a mega hub, but you have many people around the kingdom who commute literally on a daily basis or a weekly basis. So we have a huge commuter population population that flies us because they have to pay out of their own pocket. So they're looking for something that's affordable to allow them to do that.